You've been told that life insurance is just for when you die, but the ultra wealthy use life insurance to fund businesses, invest in real estate, build family banks, and avoid taxes. Today, I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you all the ins and outs of how life insurance really works and how you can utilize it the same way that the ultra wealthy do. Here's the secret. The wealthy use it all the time. Here are 3 real-world examples of wealthy companies and organizations and families using life insurance to fund their life. So what do we do at Infinite Capital? We help business owners, real estate investors, and high-income professionals be able to build infinite banking whole life systems. This allows you to structure policies for maximum liquidity, maximum leverage, and designed custom around your wants and needs. Whatever your goals are, we reverse engineer the policy so that you can achieve your goals in the time frame that you're looking to or faster. We don't just sell life insurance. We really build family banks and create dynasties. That is exactly what we're looking to do, and that's what we focus on. 98% of our business is exactly that. So what does this actually look like for you? If you're a business owner or real estate investor sitting on at least $100,000 in cash in a bank account getting 0.1% interest, or in a money market account that you're paying taxes on at the end of the year, this is for you. Instead, you could put the cash into a life insurance policy, grow it tax-free, borrow 90 to 95% of it tax-free, and use that money to invest in your business, buy real estate, or create a tax-free retirement, or all of the above. And in the process, you also create millions of dollars of death benefit that you pass on to your family tax-free and that you can utilize to set up the family banking trust that you want to have, to be able to set up a system that creates this over time. And now you'll never have to utilize the banking system again. You don't have to go through the painstaking process of requesting loans from the banks, the painstaking process of waiting for them to approve you, for you to actually have to tell them everything that you're using the money for. With life insurance, all you do is call up the insurance carrier, ask for a policy loan, and they'll send you a loan with your money as collateral. And you don't even have to, they don't even ask you what it's for. It's the ultimate freedom when it comes down to money and control over what you work so hard for. And this is what so many business owners and investors fail to do, is that they earn money, but they don't necessarily keep it in the right place. And then they multiply it in different ways, but there's not always tax advantages there. And so if you can earn more money, keep your money somewhere and leverage against it so you can multiply that money all tax-free and all compounding for the rest of your life, that's the ultimate hack when it comes to money. Most people just simply don't understand life insurance. Before I got into the industry, I just thought life insurance was you pay a little bit of money and when you die, your family gets some extra money. Most people think of life insurance agents as old and boring, your typical middle-aged white American dude with a briefcase and a plaid shirt going door to door selling life insurance with a briefcase, because that is what the average life insurance agent actually is. And that's the way that it's perceived in movies and the way that it's perceived in the media. And the reality is we just don't get taught that before the Wall Street was created, that life insurance, whole life insurance specifically, was actually the main savings vehicle for Americans. We don't learn why this happens. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that financial advisors, CPAs, Wall Street, the government, all the people that pitch the money systems, the financial strategies in the world today, they all are incentivized away from life insurance. For whatever reason, this is what it was created. And it's really the collusion between, again, coming from the Federal Reserve, the bankers, and Wall Street and the major banks, along with the politicians who make money on taxes. These people make money based on interest and fees. These people make money based on taxes. And both of them, in life insurance, you don't have either of them. Both of them come from everything else. You don't have any taxes. You don't have any fees. You don't have any of that stuff when it comes down to life insurance, if you're working with the right people and you're doing it the right way. And so really we just have this preconceived notion that life insurance is old and boring, or life insurance is a waste of money. One of the biggest financial people out there right now, because most of America has major problems with debt, is Dave Ramsey, and he preaches to get out of debt, and he hates whole life insurance, and he's a big proponent of buy term and invest in difference, but he's funded that way. He's told to do it that way from the people that endorse him. And the reality is that if you knew just how powerful whole life insurance is, you would never use banks the same way you do now, ever again. The wealthy that I know, they all utilize life insurance, leverage against it, be able to utilize it for whatever it is that they need, whether, like I said before, whether it's businesses, real estate, whether it's being able to use it for your kids' college or graduation or buy a car. Wealthy families use life insurance, A, to protect their assets, B, to fund their assets, and C, to protect their family. And this is exactly what I'm going to show you a few examples of coming up. The first example of life insurance in the real world is BOLI, bank-owned life insurance. There are over 4,000 banks in the United States with billions of dollars of whole life insurance on their executives and on their banks. The reason that they do that is so that they can leverage against the cash value and be able to use it to fund all of the different endeavors that the bank is doing. They have safety, guarantees, tax-free growth, and it's counted as Tier 1 capital. On average, banks hold 25% of their Tier 1 capital in life insurance. This is a way for them to leverage their capital and be able to use it just like you can. The second example of life insurance in the real world is corporate CEOs and golden handcuffs. If you look, all of the major CEOs of all the major companies all have what's called a Section 162 plan or an executive bonus plan, because it's Section 162 of the tax code, which is a executive bonus plan that is tax depreciable or tax deductible for the company and is taxable income for the executive. This is a way that major corporations give millions and millions of dollars to their executives, and then they can use that policy however they want. It's a gift, per se, to the executive and treated like a bonus at the end of the year, or at the end of the quarter. And this way they're able to utilize this to keep the golden handcuffs on their top executives, keep giving them money. And if they end up leaving or quitting, then they have provisions in there that that policy can either go back to the company or they continue to own that policy and their family becomes the beneficiary. The third example is family offices with infinite banking. Family offices, specifically the Rockefellers, they're the famous family bank that has utilized this for generations. There are many other family offices. When I go to family office networking groups, a lot of them utilize life insurance. They all utilize whole life insurance and private placement life insurance to leverage against for their investments and to be able to be there to have the safety, security, and create that dynasty just like the Rockefellers did as well. Why does this actually work? Here are the mechanics of cash value life insurance. First, you have the premiums. The premiums are not tax deductible if they're owned by you. If the policy is owned by a company, it can be. But the real value when it comes to taxes is that you pay premiums, a portion of that covers a death benefit, and then the rest of it goes to cash value. The rest of it builds cash value. And yes, in the beginning, first couple years of the policy, depending on how you design it, most of it goes to the death benefit. But within a 2 to 5 year period of time, most of it then starts going to cash value. And if you're not thinking short term, but you're thinking long term, you have this compound growth that never ever ends for the rest of your life. And you can have that be something that you set up to have the beneficiary be a trust. And then it can be set up so that they can buy life insurance on the future generations. And it can continue compounding while the existing generations utilize the cash value for their endeavors. You can borrow against it while it's still compounding because you're not actually borrowing your cash. This is another good sign of how you know if somebody's good at infinite banking or not, is if they say they borrow your money. You're not borrowing your money. You are leveraging your money. Your cash is collateral. The life insurance company is giving you their money with your cash as collateral, and you're using their money to do all the things in your life. The way that you do this is that you request a simple policy loan from the life insurance company, and every company is a little different, but they'll give you 90 to 95% of the cash value available in the policy when you utilize a life insurance policy that's a mutual company, non-direct recognition, and also understands the infinite banking process. A lot of the major life insurance companies do not let you do infinite banking. And so you got to work with a practitioner who understands it. Now, when you take a policy loan, there's no credit checks, no taxes, no penalties, no loan documents, none of that. It's the easiest loan that you'll ever get. It'll take a couple days to go from the life insurance company to your bank account, but it's the easiest loan that you'll ever get. Whereas a bank loan takes 30, 60, 90 days to actually get approved. An SBA loan might take 3, 6, 9, or 12 months. This is an easy way for you to leverage your capital. And you also have protection, liquidity, and leverage that you can't get anywhere else, and you have it all in one place. Cash value life insurance is the secret to how the wealthy manage their money and build generational wealth. So why don't most advisors talk about this? Number one, they're not making fees off of your money for the rest of your life. This is how they're trained in finance. And when they take their securities license, is that you want to have as much AUM, assets under management, as possible. And it's about getting 0.5% to 2.5% off of all of the assets that you manage. And that's what the game is how many assets can I get under my management? Whereas life insurance is a sale that you're going to get for that 1 year. You're going to get a percentage of it, and then you're going to get renewals for a 5 to 10 year period of time, depending on the company that you work with. But being able to not have to worry about this, that's number one. They are incentivized more to take your money and trained really to take all your money, put it in the market, and whether it goes up or down doesn't matter. Just like he talks about in Wolf of Wall Street, when Jordan Belfort goes out to lunch with Matthew McConaughey in the first time, right? He says it doesn't matter. It goes up, down, left, right. Nobody knows what's going on, and we make money no matter what. This is exactly why most advisors don't talk about life insurance. And number two is they don't know how to structure policies properly. I was trained rigorously in the infinite banking concept by multiple people that have coached, mentored, and trained me and the Nelson Ash Institute. If you go to infinitebanking.org and the person that you're talking to about infinite banking is not on there and is not a practitioner, they do not know how to do infinite banking properly and therefore might be at risk. Most times at these major companies, they're just trained to do base whole life policy, which means they're not max funding or at least overfunding. They don't all have to be max funded, but overfunding cash or setting up in a way for you to be able to do it later. A lot of policies don't even have the functionality for you to put more cash in later when, not if, but when you hit a bonus, when you have a windfall, when you have some extra cash come into your pocket. Most of them aren't set up that way. And last and most important is Wall Street, big banks, and the government profit off of your ignorance. They make money off of your 401ks and IRAs. The fund managers make money every single time they do a trade inside that fund, which is often. Now you have AI being able to trade as almost infinitely amount of times throughout your life, and they have these target date funds, which is all about rebalancing. Every time you rebalance, you're selling and buying something else. Every time you sell and buy something else, selling something and buying something else, you have transaction fees, and in those fees is how those companies make money. You can see this happening in 2008. You see this happening in 2020 when all the major banks and all of the stock markets are going down. Yet all the CEOs and all the executives at these companies are having a lot of money and they have the most profitable years. And so the government is also not going to teach a tax-free strategy in the schools that are funded by the government. Right? That wouldn't make any sense. So they're not going to do that. They're going to teach you to put your money into 401ks and IRAs where they're going to get a guaranteed annuity off your retirement when you retire at 65 years old. And they sell this whole story of retirement that's a myth. And then the Wall Street and the bankers are going to sell you this whole pipe dream on that the stock market's going to grow 8% per year, even though John Bogle, who's the founder of Vanguard, who created the first mutual fund, he says the average mutual fund only does 3.5%, but you get lied to and get told that it's going to do 8 to 10%. And that's just not accurately how it actually happens. So just make sure that you're talking to somebody that knows what they're doing, and make sure that you go down the rabbit hole enough to uncover the BS that they're putting out there in the media and that you're learning in school.